And joining me now to discuss all of this is Lieutenant Colonel in Reserves Avital Leibovich, Director of AJC's Israel Office and former IDF spokesperson. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
So, Avital, we're seeing a nationwide strike led by hostage families and massive rallies demanding action. What are these protests aiming to achieve, and could they actually shift government policy?
Well, I heard the previous reports, and I have to say there is no right and wrong in this case, and there is no scientific answer in this case. This is a one-day protest, which involves a big portion of the population here, but there are also many others who stayed at home. So this is a way to actually identify with the families, and not more than that. I think that's the way it should be treated. In other words, nobody expects that tomorrow morning the hostages will be released following these protests. From the family's perspective, definitely this is a way to increase the profile of this issue. And obviously the time is pressing as we all witnessed the recent footage that Hamas released in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely horrifying, the footage that was released. It seems there's a growing divide between those prioritizing the hostage return and those supporting the continuation of the war until Hamas is destroyed. How fragile do you think is Israeli unity right now?
Well, I don't think that we should build this kind of thesis based upon one day of protest. I don't think the country is totally divided on this issue. On the contrary, most of the country, I don't know anybody in my environment, doesn't matter what party, what political affiliation he or she, what the age are, if they're Jews or non-Jews, most of the country, the vast majority, the huge vast majority of this country wants the hostages to return. In that way, until they will not return, this country will forever be scarred. And that would create an additional unity. But just to place fragmentation on one day of protest, I don't think really this is the issue.
Now, what do you think? Do you see these protests as a sign of democratic strength and support, like you say, or could it also be a dangerous fracture that Hamas could exploit? Many say that the civil unrest, it influences Israel's negotiating stance and it empowers Hamas. What do you think?
No, I would say that Israel is a vibrant democracy, and these protests all over the country are just a great example of that vibrant democracy. As for Hamas, the day of protest will not change Hamas' vile ideology. They don't want to see us here. They don't want to see Israel exist. And I don't think it will do anything to the talks, which, by the way, we all know that they're not taking place in any way. So I think for the world, it's important to see that Israel is a vibrant democracy. As for Hamas, this is something the government needs to lead. The sooner, the better.
Now, Israel has seemingly shifted from going after a partial deal to now demanding a one-phase full release and complete disarmament of Hamas. Do you think there's any room to go back for a partial deal, given the pressure in Israel and if Hamas possibly eases their terms? Or has the time passed for all of that and Israel's marching forward to an all-or-nothing standpoint?
So if I put on for a second my former spokesperson hat, and I read very carefully the press release that came out this morning from the Prime Minister's office, the word only does not appear there. In other words, it didn't say that only a full deal is the deal that Israel is going for. So I understand from reading that and analyzing it that still both options are on the table. And following on what I said before, when the entire country wishes for the return of the hostages, I'm sure that the government will do something to release at least a few of the hostages other than the entire 20. Of course, we're hoping for the entire 50.
Avital Leibovich, thank you very much for your input on this.
Thank you.